Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. If y'all can hear me, let me know you can hear me. Let's see. Let me get the right spot. How y'all doing this morning? See if I can get y'all on my cell. Good morning. Hey, Auntie Bev, how you doing? Good morning. Hope y'all doing well this morning. It's another beautiful week that we have amongst us, and the gnats are in full effect. I'm gonna have to get another fan. I already can tell that. Great. You can hear? Okay. Good. 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 Hold on for one quick sec. I got to get another power source to get this fan to keep these things from just flying all over me. Hold on for one quick sec. I want to welcome you all back to Eco Nation news that you may or may not be able to use. I hope y'all doing well. Put it in the chat if y'all can hear me. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Apologize. I had to get the Hey, Kathy B, how you doing? Bless up. Good to see you today. I had to get another power source to run my fan, and hopefully it's not affecting the sound. If the sound is okay, let me know that the sound is okay, okay? Okay, cool, cool, cool. So just to kind of give you all an update, this is Eco Nation news that you may or may not be able to use. And I'm hoping you all are doing well. I hope everything is going well in your life. D Jackson, how you doing? I'm glad all is well, Kathy B. Glad to see it. Glad to see it. Y'all know we made it another week. Every time you see Eco Nation news, it's an indicator that you made it another week. Uh, for some reason, we measure time, and the time I think is a part of success in so many ways. You know, so many ways that we have successful times just by being able to make this milestone. So we have made this milestone, and it's a blessing. It's a beautiful day, Courtney. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Welcome on in. Welcome in. Let's talk a little bit about Hurricane Idalia. Hurricane Idalia did not hit Eco Nation. Thankful, thankful, thankful. It did impact a lot of places throughout the state of Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and maybe even parts of North Carolina. So we definitely want to keep the people in our thoughts and our prayers, and we definitely want to make sure that we continue to try to support any kind of way that we can. And no one can really prepare for something that we call a storm. You know, how you really prepare, you do. But when you're directly hit, a lot of times that's very, very difficult to kind of withstand. So we definitely want to think about them. We had some winds. We really didn't get that much rain. I was very disappointed about the rain piece. Hey, Gigi. I gotta get you. You got your chair. Okay. But we did encounter some winds, and actually we got more rain after the storm. After the storm came, we got more rains after the storm. So we're grateful. We did uh, prepare for it in so many ways. And when you're off grid living, the main thing that we do, as in Florida or anywhere else, what you try to do is you try to get all your debris, no kind of debris where things can just fly and just hit things. we tried to remove as much as we can. But of course, when you're out here in the woods, anything can be an object. Anything can be an object. A stick. Uh, I mean, it's so much stuff. A branch, a tree, anything could be a moving object. So this is our second hurricane that we kind of went through. I felt a little bit more. Um, I felt a little bit more. Hey, Gigi, come on in. I felt a little bit more secure about the situation because of the fact that I kind of saw what we needed to do. The first hurricane, I sat out and I sat through the storm. Of course, Lil Gigi and Gigi, they exited. But I just wanted,
right.
I just wanted to try to see what was it like. That particular storm was far worse than this one, even though the category was higher. And that's the thing that I always want to remind people
well, I think because it hit further to the
west.
Yeah. Well,
we was on the east side of it, but
yeah.
it hit west,
Yeah.
but we was on the east side. So typically, whenever you get a hurricane, so if you imagine the eye, the east side, this side of the hurricane is typically, especially the northeast side, is the most, in some cases, the most, I guess, challenging piece. But all you need is spin off tornadoes. That's the thing that kind of scared me more than anything.
Yeah, them natives, they scary.
Them tornadoes are
okay.
Are the ones, and I think that's what really impacted a large area. What's up, Rambo?
Hi.
How you doing?
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, Courtney, Light Love 17. How you doing?
Hi, Courtney Taylor. Hi, Black Love. How you doing? Happy Sunday to you. Hi, Rambo. How you doing? Kathy B. How are you?
Hey.
Hi, Auntie Bev. Pepper from the garden. Use one of the sweet ones.
That's wonderful. Here we go. Kathy B said, that's wonderful.
Hi, D. Jackson.
My area got pounded by the monsoon last few days. Lots of water and flooding in Vegas. It's funny. Funny you mentioned that. I was just listening this morning. A magic thing happened for as California and our West Coast, Nevada. A lot of the water reservoirs are starting to be restored. If you all notice, we've had over the last year a lot of unprecedented rain, snowfall, and a lot of other things. And for the first time in a long time, I'm hearing on the news where the water has started to become restored. So thankful for that. The West Coast can be saved from being, monsoon. Well, being in a heater, I should say, because it has been quite challenging. So last week we weren't able to get on because we were in full celebration mode. Last week I had a birthday. I'm glad about that. Able to see another decade. And
how old are you, Neighbor?
I just turned 50 years old, and it's a blessing to be 50. It doesn't seem like it. I don't know where the time goes. I hate you spoke to them because you're encouraging participation and interaction and distraction. I'm talking about the pups down here that you can't see. I try to ignore them because they will come into the show, and one of them is very clingy. So yes, I was able to see another year. Grateful for that. We coming up on next week. We got our anniversary coming up.
Oh, we do.
Yes, we got an anniversary coming up.
We still together.
And we still
you remember
together.
The show?
Yeah, we still together. Living Color, one.
Yes,
they'll be beating
color.
each other. They beating each other down, knocking each other out, and then when they get finished,
traps with each other.
And then when they get finished, they be like, "We still together." Yeah, that show was definitely ahead of its time.
Absolutely.
And it's a lot of shows. I don't know what happened. I guess we have to do this in this YouTube world, be more creative about what we do, because a lot of the TV shows and a lot of things like that growing up, they had a lot. We had a lot of shows that sent messages and
Yeah.
kind of said some things.
Yeah, we had a lot of good. I think we had a lot of good quality shows. Like obviously everybody loved the Cosby Show. You know, we loved. I personally loved Good Times.
And there was messages. It wasn't just entertainment.
It was about something.
Yeah.
It was about something other than, you know.
That's weird having 2 feet on your feet. My pups, they just
other than money, hoes, and clothes.
Yeah, twerking.
It was more to life than that. So.
And one thing I noticed now about the culture now, we did, and we always, I guess, especially in our culture, we always like to kind of show off or kind of, celebrate our accomplishment, I should say. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily just show off, but celebrate our accomplishment. But now it seems like the whole conversation is always talking about what I got.
Yeah.
And
hey,
I don't
Rich.
know. What's up, B. Rich?
Morning.
How you doing? Thank you, B. Rich. Much love. Much love.
I have In Living Color on VHS. You still have the VHS? We done messed up some stuff since we've been off grid. We got some things that got messed up a lot.
I just found out that our family videos and photos, it was in a tote, and I opened up the tote and it's full of water. We've lost a lot of stuff in this transition because we haven't had.
Wait, you didn't tell me photos.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, baby.
Oh my God.
It's a lot of stuff. A lot of keepsakes.
I thought I took all of that. But,
not everything.
I'm not gonna lose focus.
Not everything. Not everything.
Well, yeah, that's always
GG,
hard.
For real.
I love.
Today is so exhausting. Nothing to watch nowadays. Well, we got to create it, y'all.
Yeah.
I think now, Courtney, more than ever, we have to create our own environment, and this kind of leading into Eco Nation News today. One of the things that I would like to encourage everyone to do is to explore, no matter where you are, no matter what you have. You got to make the best out of what you have. And one thing I'm learning more and more every day in life is that time is only limited, and you have to secure every single freaking moment. And you want to really make sure that you create your own peace and create your own environments. I wish y'all would wrestle.
Go somewhere else.
Out there. I wish y'all would not wrestle on my feet. Move, 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 move. It's just like talking to myself. But we have to create our own lifestyles and our own places. And so what we did during the
what's up, Cali bro?
During the celebration, we and friends of ours, we went and bought plants. We bought a bunch of citrus trees, right?
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness, we went overboard. So Lowe's had 50% off on some of their citrus trees.
Yeah.
That was game on for us.
Yeah.
You're looking at $90 plants now, $40 some more dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at $50 plants now, $20 some more dollars. So, Gigi, do you want to say how disrespectful you were?
That was you.
With what you've done.
You did that.
No, I didn't do that.
Listen, I was going to get 2 small plants that were going to be like $11 each, okay? Citrus plants. I was going to get 2.
Okay.
Then all of a sudden, he goes, yeah, I want that same one Shy got. And I was like, oh, really now? Somebody breaking the budget, right?
Well, I mean, how many opportunities do you get to get a citrus?
None. And I was going to go back but I mean, you know, I know we had too many that day because we had to fit her stuff there and our stuff. So I knew that day it was too much, but I'm sure they probably sold out of the 50%. How disrespectful.
Juicing with Jay, what's going on?
It was him the whole time, Jay. It was him the whole time.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, Juicing with Jay. I was trying to remember what I recently saw with Juicing with Jay.
The peppers. Billy.
Yeah, Juicing with Jay, you better be careful with them peppers, man. Even though you might be able to tolerate it coming in, it's the outward piece that you might wanna just curtail, because I'm
like
telling
Journey,
you,
hello.
You know, I don't know how young you are, but eventually those those pipes get a little thin. You know what I'm saying?
Life Journey says, "Hey y'all, family man is driving us for our granddaughter's second birthday. So I'm saying bless up for him. Bless up, family man.
What's going on, family man?
Good to see you, Life's Journey. Welcome. So glad that you showed us that you are connected to Family Man. Thank you. Homestead in the Hood. How you doing?
Homestead in the Hood.
Bless Beyond. Hello. How you doing?
David Court.
Milwaukee
King
is
David,
in the house.
What's going on, man?
Milwaukee is in the house. Who else came up in here?
All
David?
right, Mr. Tupper, man.
You think you can handle it?
All right.
Happy Mac, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, the pipes get thin after a while, man.
Oh, Happy Mac said something.
What Happy Mac
said? Happy Mac said, yeah, some folks think that they are happy in turmoil. We were having, I'm glad you said that, because it brought back a conversation that Eco and I were having. And I was watching this video one day. It was a YouTube video. And the young lady, you know, she was a single parent, had kids, and she lived in the city, like in the real city, like up north in the city. And she was walking down the street, and I couldn't help but hear all of the horns honking everywhere. Just, it was like people everywhere. It was just like, to me, and that's just to me because I prefer the country life. To me, it seemed just like chaos. But, and then she started to actually talk about it. When they got home, the TV was going. Yeah. All of her little kids were running around, and they playing, and they wrestling, they screaming, and it was just like, to me, it was chaotic. But to her, she started talking about it, and she was like, I know to some of y'all, like, this may seem like a lot, but this is just what I'm used to. Like, I'm just used to all of this. I'm used to noise everywhere. It's just what I'm used to. And so I'm just showing y'all the inside of our regular life. And I'm like, honestly, and it brought back to the conversation that we were having, where we were talking about there are some people who thrive in chaos. They thrive in those type of environments. So listen to this, would drive them insane.
Yeah. It's people that really couldn't take this quietness, the stillness. They were saying, you hear a lot of people say there's nothing to do here. What are y'all doing? This is so boring, you know. I keep looking off into the distance because I've noticed after the storm, I seen 2 snakes yesterday, and one of our pups may have been bitten by a snake. We're monitoring. We don't think for sure, but we're monitoring. But when the weather gets a little squirrely, things get to crawling, and this is reptile month because August and the beginning of September, this is the time where they really go hard before it gets cold. So if you all are out here on your land or doing whatever you need to do, be cautious. Look around. Be mindful of where you're stepping, where you're placing your hands, what you're picking up, because right now is the time. And going back to what you were saying about the chaos. Sometimes we call things chaotic, but in a lot of places it's peace. I'm gonna give you a classic example. People like that would do very well during turmoil, like hurricane relief, during a major disaster, during an emergency, and different things like that, where everybody else would be hysterical. They would be more of a calm effect, and we need those different people in our lives. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's so important that we try not to control people, judge people, or put people in boxes and put people in categories, because we all are unique, and we all are designed for a purpose, and with that we should embrace that.
And that's why I said specifically for me that that's why I said for me it was chaos. What the whole? Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Sit down.
Our last slide was off the chain.
Down.
We don't need that off
the chain. Down. Sit down. Moose is so hard headed.
Yeah, they did. The pup's doing some nasty business. Go home, get back. Get away from me. Go. Get back. I don't know why you talk to them. You shouldn't have said nothing to them. Because they're going to come when you talk to them. Yeah, they just committing adultery. What is that? I don't know what that is. Qualification. And Gigi say, stop.
What the whole?
Okay.
Boy.
Anyway.
Just
all
when
right.
you think no dull moments.
Oh my goodness! Please don't say nothing. Don't do no eye contact. Nothing. We don't need them right now. Okay, we at a low point right now, and they are very. They can access us at any point. We don't need that kind of vibration.
Okay.
All right. So
what were
we were talking about the citrus that we brought.
We weren't. We had moved
and then we talked about chaos. And now we're talking about. Have y'all heard about the Burning Man? 73,000 people out stranded in the desert. You haven't heard about it?
No.
So there was a festival. It's called the Burning Man. And this festival brings in a ton of people. And it's out in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. It's off, quote, the grid. There's no power, no infrastructure. But they truck in a bunch of generators. Everybody bring gas. People bring solar panels. It's a lot of different things that they do. And it's a pretty cool show. So if you haven't or you weren't aware of it, it's called the Burning Man. Check out the Burning Man. So what happened was, of course, they're in the middle of the desert, right? And as one of our people in the chat, they just said that we're getting a lot of rain over in Nevada, right? So that rain has allowed them, there's flooding and they can't get out. Mm. So they're out there trapped. And my question is, we don't know how long they may be out there because the rain and the authorities are saying do not try to come in because you can get stuck or what have you. And it's like 73,000 people they say that attended. I'm not sure how many are stuck, how many are out there, but it's a lot of people. We're not talking about a few people. So now the Burning Man is crazy chaos. See? These are things and times that we can't control. So let me ask you a question. When you travel, when you go, do you pack light or you pack heavy?
I used to pack super heavy, but now I pack light.
So do you think it matters whether you pack light or whether you pack, like for instance, sometimes you might not have a lot of stuff like clothing and accessories, but you may have like maybe a power station, maybe
that's gonna be the heaviest thing. That's gonna be the heaviest thing that I carry. Yeah. Would be something like a jackery or something. That would be the heaviest thing that I would carry, other than water.
Yeah. Now see, so they're saying over there at the Burning Man, they don't want them using none of the port outlets unless you're doing the number 2. They want them urinating on the ground. But what happens if that time goes for longer? How do you? What are you thinking? Like some of them, of course, they're in RVs. They're in different. A lot of them came prepared maybe for 1 or 2 days, or maybe even some of them came prior to the event, and so they knew they'll be leaving soon after the event. And some people kind of said, we're gonna go about the time, and then we're gonna hang out until everybody clear out. So we got a lot of people. Some people packed light, and some people didn't and came prepared, but some people didn't come at all. So when you're around a lot,
RV, I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't worry so much about it. If I was in the RV, I would just like conserve as much gas as possible. Kind of really depending on, I know it's hot out there. I know it's super hot out there. But trying to conserve water, I can see that being, one of the biggest things, trying to conserve water since you are in the desert.
Yeah, that water, man, I'm telling you, if you need anything in this life, you need water.
Yeah.
One thing about the water is if you don't have water, you really realize how valuable.
Kathy B. No toilet. Oh no. Trust me, Kathy B. It's not as bad as you think.
Nah, it's not as bad as you think.
That's the least of their problems.
But this is the thing. This is the thing that Kathy B. Think about this. Me personally, I would probably violate that because I don't want to use that portalet. Period. If you think about that many
all
people,
of them people, yeah.
I wouldn't even. I couldn't even go in there.
Give me the ground.
I mean, yeah. I understand that they want to keep everything sanitary with that amount of condensed people, and the majority of them are all in one location. So just imagine a full-fledged. That's a city, 73,000 people.
Yeah, man.
That's a lot of people, and situation like that, you definitely are glad if you had some type of prepping or you had some type of experience with that.
Happy Max says, I'd be walking as far away as possible. Yeah, if you got enough water, to kind of help keep yourself hydrated, then definitely I would personally want to get away from the crowd. I wouldn't want to be in the middle of the crowd.
It's like I looked at some of the videos and it's like water standing, because if you think about it, it's like compacted sandy clay. The desert is not designed to really, I guess, handle that amount of water. You know what I'm saying? Some of it can be very compacted and bog, like a bog. So you have to be careful with separating yourself from too many people, but then at the same time, you do want a buffer if you can.
Okay, this is very important. Homesteading in the Hood says, as a rescue responder, please know if you're advised for your safety to stay put. Help will be a while coming in for the rescuer's safety. Yeah, for their safety too.
Yeah.
If I were leaving, I wouldn't expect nobody to come and try to find me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yes, that's a very, very good point. Is if they're telling you and you have no survival skills, just stay where you at.
Hey, Ordinary, how you doing? Cassandra, how you doing? And how would they know where to find you? You know what I'm saying? If you're out in the desert, if you think about it, it's almost like a dry. Well, normally it's dry, but it's like an ocean. And if you get separated, then now that's another mission that you're creating for the rescuers. And I get it. If you're fluent in surviving in that type of situation, you know what to do. That's something different. But
I wonder, how are they gonna? That people are using the resources, right?
Yeah.
And so you have people in their RVs.
They're gonna probably fly some stuff in.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the mission would be like.
You may want to stay somewhat close to the mass because it's easier to treat and to take care of a group of people versus individual people kind of all separated.
And I think about instances like Katrina, for instance, when the hurricane happened, and then you had so many people who were together, forced together in one place, right? Mm-hmm. Not just Katrina, but many other instances where you have people that are forced together in other places. And then you have women and children not being safe anymore because you got all of these people from everywhere with all of these different types of mindsets, with different agendas, you got the psychos and you got the regular people, the normal people, mm-hmm. all together in one. That is like a recipe for disaster. And so when you start hearing about people being attacked and all of this stuff inside of the group, that's the type of stuff that I think about. It's hard for people to get along just if they know each other. So just imagine being around 70 something thousand people and y'all are stuck. You're in a bad situation. You got people that have anxiety. You got people that have bipolar. You got people that have paranoia, schizophrenia. You have all of these people who are there together in one location. And that is, I think, what concerns me more than anything when it comes to being with a group. And especially a group that large, and then being able to.
So I want to go back in the chat. So Kim, if you saw my live yesterday, I talked about a mindset, about being prepared, about planning your day, being intentional about what you do. I didn't mean that just for people that's out here in the woods living vicariously in nature, right? I'm talking about we have to do this every day. You brought up a good point. Some of us, we don't check the weather. If you're traveling, you're going anywhere, the weather is not the same.
It is not.
It's not the same. And we already, I'm not going to go down that road, but we know that weather is somewhat scientifically controlled in so many ways, right? There have been droughts that now no longer there are droughts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, put the two
cloud
pieces
season.
together. It's more than just cloud season. There's a lot of stuff going on, right?
They're not hiding anything. Yeah. It's about you opening your mind and just do the research.
Yeah, it's just there. Explore. I mean, we can keep tucking our heads in the sand if we want to, or covering our heads with a blanket, but reality is real.
Yeah.
If you see the weather forecast and you're checking my boy Ryan Hall and he's telling you something is going to happen, expect it to be more than what it really is, especially if you're traveling.
Let me say this too.
Mm-hmm.
That event was going to go on.
Yeah.
That a show of that magnitude, they're not canceling this show.
No.
And people are committed.
Over people. Money
over everything. People are committed.
Yeah.
And people are willing to pay for their demise. They do it all the time.
And one thing too that you were mentioning, I thought you mentioned a lot of good things that you have to think about, like the anxiety. People got health conditions. People running out of food. People running out of water. But now, I don't care where you are, whether you're in rural America, the city, the county, where we are having so many people dependent on drugs right now. I mean, almost anybody that you look. I look at the elderly, how the pharmaceutical companies pretty much, that's the target audience, you know, where they own, I don't know how many prescriptions. But if you think about some of the people, they may be alcoholics, drug addicted, all of that. Now they've been out there and now they're starting to sober up, right? And guess what happened? Withdrawals happen. When withdrawals, if they're out there for a duration period of time, you're going to get some chaotic type situations.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get some desperate type situations.
Mm-hmm.
If you all were commingling in some of that activity and then they saw your bar on your RV and you invited them over, or you might been partying up for whatever you're doing, and then they saw some of your stash, they're going to come after it.
Yeah, and and Homestead in the Hood said, find like-minded people. I'm paraphrasing what she said. Find like-minded people and band together. And then, you thinking that you like-minded with some people, and you realize that y'all are completely different.
Yeah.
Once you actually get to know them, you realize that you're completely different. So it's really this is why we like to have like real family around us.
Yeah.
For everything on the homestead, when we travel, if we're going somewhere, we like to really know somebody in those areas so that we have people that we know are for real like us and understand who we are as people.
So let's go through.
Wait a minute.
This leading into that.
Okay. I'm not sure the conversation because I just joined, but I was in Katrina, luckily evacuated hours before. During those natural disasters, it's crazy.
Okay.
Let me just stop straightening. Even if you get away, you literally don't get any info. It's pretty much word of mouth. You definitely get more help being by the largest group of people where the most needs are.
One of the people that were interviewed, they posted they're able to post on social media because I think they brought in these towels and different stuff like that so they can get reception. And one of the posts that I saw was a lady was saying, it's so much misinformation out here. And We are getting information mainly from one source, and then the rest of it is word of mouth. And so, situation like that, panic can kind of set in. And I remember in school we did a project, and the teacher whispered in one child's ear at the front of the class, and then we had to whisper in each child's ear whatever was whispered to that child. And man, that story had changed so big by the time it got in a room of 25 kids.
Yeah.
That story was way out. The color was wrong. The
you be looking at each other like, what?
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy by the time it got to the end, y'all. But we need to think about these things, and when we travel, when we go around, we got to prepare for these things. So these are some things that you just want to be prepared for. You want to, as you travel, you don't know the area, you don't know where you're going. Make sure you think about some of the things. Pay attention to before you leave the weather conditions, what typically happens during that time of the year. You also want to make sure that if you don't have whatever amenities that you plan to have, that you have another alternative to kind of help you through that process.
Yeah, having options, having like you said, different alternatives. It means everything when you're in, especially when you're in a situation like we're in. Like, we have the solar panels set up right here, and we typically are charging at least one jackery off of the solar panels during the day. So we'll have that one jackery charging, and then we have other things that are charging every time the generator runs, and so on. And so when I came home one day, and I guess the generator had not been running as long as I was accustomed to it running. So I got my Gulu that sits by my bed. I sit this one by bed, so because it has so many different ports, and I can charge both of my phones. I can have my fan running during the night so that I can stay cool, all of that type of stuff. So I like to keep that one by my bed. But like today it's overcast. Yesterday it was overcast. So we were having to use the gas. We were having to run everything. It's a little cooler than it has been.
Yeah.
But we were having to use the gas instead of being able to charge off of the solar because it was very overcast. So you just have to have different options available.
Yeah,
different resources available
more options, the better you are. And learn how to use each option. Sometimes even when you don't need them at that time, you got other resources. Try them out. Don't get to the part or to the point where you are in a place where you have to use them and then you don't know how to use them.
Yeah, and then you don't have them because you've used too much. You have to learn how to really conserve. You have to learn how to really conserve because it makes a world of difference. If I come home and then I'm like, okay, I'm on 15% right now, that's not gonna take me through the night. So I need to make sure that we got we got to burn some gas, or we got to burn some propane because we got the generator now that runs off of gas and propane, gas or propane. So you just have to you have to always be thinking out here is the main thing, is that you always have to be thinking. You have to always think one step ahead, two, three steps ahead of what you're about to do. Because if it's, I went all day, I'm going to suffer at night because it's going to be hot in here.
Yeah.
If we're not running the generator, and we don't want to run the generator in the middle of the night. We like to be able to hear. We have animals out here. The Musa.
Please,
I don't want to hear him. Let me call him. But he is like a second alarm system for us, because while Chaka is like, he's very cool, he's very chill, he's very laid back. The other one is bow, 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 bow. And then we have
don't bark for
we
no
have
reason,
the
though.
well, yeah, they don't bark for just no reason.
Yeah.
But that one is going to let you know if something happens, if somebody pulls up. It doesn't matter if it's one of our vehicles that pulls up. He's going to let you know that somebody is coming. If he sees somebody out there beside the road, love bugs. If he sees somebody out there beside the road, or if he hears a car stay for too long, then he's letting us know that there is somebody out there. Mm-hmm. And you can tell the difference between like their play bark when they're barking at each other and playing versus when they get serious. It's like it's really something going on. Like one will be like, hey, something is out here, and then the other one is like standing beside him like, yeah. Something ain't right. What is this? What's happening? So, hi, Grease guys.
What's up, Grease guys? How you doing? You were talking about being prepared, and you got to be intentional, basic about what you're doing, and you got to think things through. Every single thing that we do, we have to say, okay, this is what we are now. It's just like right now, as I look across, I got a jackery here. We have the what you call a gulu, and I'm looking at the percentages, and I'm looking at what we need to do and prepare for the rest of this afternoon, and then in going to transition into this evening. Everything is prep and plan. You have to always kind of prep and plan whatever you're doing, and it makes you, when you do come back to the modern day convenience, it makes you to the part where you be like, I don't know, you be so attentive to the misuse of utilities. It's just crazy. It's like when I go visit, mom or family, I'm like, man, they just got lights on. They just leaving this running. Ain't nobody watching this TV, and it's just running. And it's like, in my brain, I'm thinking about, where does this energy come from? You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, and like, and it's too when we go to we go to families' houses, and it's like they'll have the radio going, then they'll turn the TV on, like the game is going, the radio is going, then everybody is trying to talk, and we loud, trying to hear each other, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's just too much. Like turn something off so we can talk, so we can communicate with each other. So it's just,
it's just like I said, you get more attentive when you out here and you're doing this, and you start to really just kind of pay attention to, I guess, we as Americans, we real comfortable because we done the same thing. Like you would come to our house, we have music playing in the background, we have 2 or 3 TVs on, we'll be blending up something, we'll be running water, and I just think about the AC be going, all of this stuff running, and I just be thinking this was just natural. I would even have music playing in the backyard coming out the boom boom room. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even out there in the back, but when you walk out there, it's like you hear the birds in the background, but then you also hear just a little light music, some jazz or something like that playing. And I now I think about it, I'm like,
that was a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot of waste. And when you think about it, it was a lot of waste. And now we get into the part where we have to be more conscientious of our resources and what we're doing. And I'm convinced people that come from other countries and they come to America, that's why they see us being so rich, because they look at us just pretty much abusing all the natural resources that we can, even though we look at other countries and we kind of like, look at them, they polluting the water, they doing this and that, but what are we doing? We in so many ways, we're polluting the water, they just cleaning it up. You know what I'm saying?
Barely.
Yeah. Our poop, we drinking it. You go to the store and you say, drinking water, purified water. I mean, where did that come from? You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of them things where, we just have to be mindful about what we're doing and how we go about doing it. So another question I just want, wait a minute, let me go back in the chat. I see something. Let's see. Definitely leave early. Traffic is always crazy. Evacuate at the last minute. Be prepared to be rush hour traffic hours. a simple 4 or 5 hour can easily turn into 9 to 10 hour or longer.
Tell us about it in Florida, especially when people are trying to evacuate in the south when there's a big storm coming and people are headed up north. Like they ain't just stopping in Gainesville; they coming to Tallahassee. They coming to Georgia. They coming to our little place. They come in all types of places and they have nowhere to go. They don't have any other routes other than 95 or I-10 or whatever, 75. They only have so many routes, and then with all of those millions of people trying to escape, like it's chaotic. It's a mess. We feel it. We feel it all the way up here when people are trying to evacuate from down there. Hi, Miss D. How you doing? That was Miss D's Hollywood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we feel it. We feel it all the way up here in North Florida when people are evacuating because then you have all of the RVs on the road. You have all of the trucks that are coming to help.
Gas stations full.
Gas, like it's always chaotic. It's always chaotic.
And we do have a lot of stuff churning out there right now in the tropics and the ocean, and you have to always just kind of be ready at all times. Yes. Sometimes you need to leave, and sometimes you just need to go find your safe place. But have your options and keep your options open and be prepared at any time.
Yeah, we typically have a couple of places.
Yeah.
Like if it's just gonna be something where we know that if we're just in a solid structure, like a hotel, it's in the middle of the night and nobody is really prepared to drive, a couple of hours to get to our moms or whatever, then we'll stop at a hotel. We got family, within 15 minutes from the homestead. So we have several places and we always try to make sure that everybody knows that hey, we may be headed your way. If you can keep your phone on for a little while, we may be headed your way. But like with this storm that was coming, because it was turning, they said it had turned into a category 4. We were like, we knew the potential.
Yeah.
We knew that if that storm had shifted just a little bit, then we were gonna need somewhere to go. So that's what we just went ahead and was like, hey sister, we coming. When I get off work, I'm just coming straight there, babe. Pack me some clothes. I already have a to go bag, so you don't have to do. Just give me an overnight outfit. We don't have to do too much. And that's one thing that I started doing when we had here is making sure that I just have a to go bag. It's not. It's just got like toothbrush, toothpaste, a bar of soap, some lotion, one outfit. It's just like basic. And all he had to do was just grab my bag.
It's a sin to be in a natural disaster and be ashy. Just remember that. It's a sin to be ashy.
Listen.
You gotta have the lotion.
Gotta have my lotion.
Yeah.
I have to have my lotion.
You gotta have that lotion.
Yeah.
So let me. The final question I want to ask before we get out of here is, what skills do you think we will need for the future? With storms coming up all over the place, we having natural disasters, we having pandemics, we're having a lot of. Because I don't know if y'all really paying attention. It's like history repeats itself. I get that, but if you're noticing, it's like you remember when they transitioned from regular packaging to super. And now you get extra stuff. It's like all of our storms, financial downturn, stuff that normally happen once a decade or maybe once or twice in a lifetime. Now the stuff that just happens so rapid, and it's always something. But by the time you get out of one thing, it's another. I know people that's lived on this earth said it always been like that, but it used to be quiet pieces in time in life where I remember times where I would cut on TV or listen to the radio, and you didn't hear from the president probably maybe once or twice a year. You didn't hear about politics until election time. I remember it was time where you might have had a hurricane or a storm within maybe 4 or 5 years, But now we're breaking records every time you hear about something. It's record breaking. It's record breaking. It's record breaking. It's almost like we're trying to compete against turmoil. You know, the past turmoil. We're trying to outdo the past. And so, what type of things or tools or skills? Because a lot of times when I was growing up, it was all about tech, tech, tech. You need to go to school. You need to learn about coding. You need to learn about technology. You need to learn about this. But really, if I look back on it, things like mechanic, plumbing, electrical, just being able to turn a wrench and to fix things, carpentry, being able to build things, being able to have that creativity to build things.
Yeah, that was that was one of the things that my dad, like, he put my husband to the test because he was like,
What's up, Nick?
Hey, Nikki. He was like, yeah, can't have my daughter if you don't know how to fix things. You don't know how to fix no car. You don't know how to do repairs around the house. You don't know how to build some stuff. Like, he wasn't going for it. So he was so impressed when he learned that my husband actually knew how to do things. He had uncles who were tradesmen, and everything from electronics to carpentry to mechanics. They work with their hands, so he was very happy to see that. And I'm telling you, those skills need to have all around skills. I agree, J3, and that's why I'm just like, we need to know a little bit about some of everything, so that we can really be able to help ourselves. Like when we were getting ready to sell our house, we could not find anybody to come in. I know I called like 5 or 6 different people, and they'll be like, okay, I'll be over there today. I'll be over there Thursday. I'll be over there Saturday, um, to take a look, give you an estimate to do this, because we wanted to
Then they don't come.
do like some repairs. And one showed up, and the only reason that he showed up is because he knew our realtor. That's the only reason he showed up. So it's very, very difficult. My point is, it's very difficult to find someone out here who has skills at this point. A lot of I was telling Eco Neighbor, I said, we need a younger person who also has some skills. So we need these young people in the trade schools, in the tech school, like learning how to do some things, how to do repairs, and how to fix some things.
A lot of the infrastructure has been torn down. I know down here in the South, you used to have trade schools almost everywhere, almost any little small town and community.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of trade schools were defunded. I know in Georgia they were very creative with the trade schools. What they did, and with a lot of trade schools, they converted them to colleges. Mm-hmm. because they were defunded, and the only way they could obtain the money was to transition to a college.
Well, and let me tell you what the long term result of that was, though. So when I graduated high school in the early '90s, and mid '90s, excuse me, in the mid '90s.
I think you had it right the first
in the
time.
When I graduated high school in the mid '90s, the
young people, like, that's a big difference. The mid to the early, I mean, they weren't even born.
I actually went to tech school. Hey, Juan. I actually went to tech school for free. And I went all the way to the end of the nursing program until I got to clinical.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got married and we moved away. We got married and moved away.
Okay.
And so I didn't finish the clinical portion of the education. I know I could have, but, and let me tell you why I didn't. Because when I went to work at the nursing home, remember?
Yeah,
before, when we first got married, I went to work at the nursing home.
That's why we didn't go nowhere after the wedding.
That's right. They made me take this shot. And that shot almost took me out. And that was like my final decision. When I realized that I was not going to have a say in what was going in my body, I didn't finish. I had like 1 or 2 semesters left to do clinicals, and I was out. I was done because that thing like took me out. And when I realized that if I went into this field, that I was gonna have to take whatever they wanted me to take. And it didn't matter how my body reacted. I was literally in the fetal position in the tub, couldn't control anything, any of my bodily functions. So with that, I was out.
So it sounds like, based on the discussion from the chat, that we definitely need technical skills. I heard someone says learn more about your herbs. Technical, without a doubt. If you have any youth whatsoever, my daughters, they got the opportunity. Some of them change their oil, learn how to check the fluids in the cars, change tires. If your kids can at least, somebody mentioned, I can't remember who that was, Happy Mac, I think, said something about won't even pick up a hammer. Some of them don't even have access to a hammer. You know, how many people in the chat have two or tool sets? I'm just curious, because there are households in America where they don't even have tools. I remember we used to keep our household tools up underneath the sink. If anything needed fixing, you knew to go up underneath the sink and you could find those tools.
I can't see. I can't see the cursor. Wayne, yeah.
Okay. Hey, Regina. Grand Rising, coming in late, was working on a new solar panel, raised ground mount. Y'all right, Eco family. It's very important to learn skills to construct, repair your own stuff. You save thousands of dollars. You know, it used to be, and you are absolutely right. It used to be, I just want to add a little bit to that. It used to be where it was beneficial because it was cost savings. But now we get into the part where it may be beneficial due to life saving. Imagine people now, they having to be, like I used to be a respiratory tech. A respiratory technician, you can, in only an emergency, if you don't have, like, say you're isolated like these people out here, or even during tropical storms and people can't get to you, and you have people on oxygen, and it may be a machine goes down. If you know how to work a air compressor, you probably know how to work on a condenser, or a concentrator, I should say, or suction. You know, you got to think about certain those things, like, okay, the line broke on the suction, but I have a family member that needs suction. What am I going to do? I can't call 911. We stranded. We out here, and we have to wait because it's a natural disaster, and it's a bunch of people that's all calling 911 at the same time. You may go in there and be able to just patch that cord or find something else to replace, a hose, tubing. The tubing could be extra long. Like when I work on a lot of stuff, I leave extra long tubing. If I have wiring, I leave extra long wiring, because if I have to go back, I have the extra in case of emergency. I could just simply use that. It's just simple things that you would do. You know, when we did the septic, I made sure I added extra clean outs, because I don't want to be out here needing to clean this septic or just unclog this septic, and I gotta depend on somebody a week from now to help me with this problem.
Right.
You know, you don't want to be in a situation where you're out here, you're stranded, and you having to depend on somebody's convenience to come do. Because you remember the well, everything from the well to clearing the land. You have to work on other people's timeline, y'all. I don't care how much money you got. Well, I got such and such. We are in these days where people be like,
well, I'm busy.
Yeah, I'm not going to do no more.
Or just don't even respond because they so busy they don't have to. And just I think there are multiple reasons why people don't respond. But
and this is the thing. If you're in the service business, if you're a service business owner, you typically have more work than you can handle, especially whether you're good or not. You're typically going to have more work than you can handle. And now I don't know what happened after this new revolution of this 2020, but more people now looking at life in a different way. And they're saying, why should I do something I don't feel like doing if I don't want to? I had a septic guy come out here him and his son. They were great. They took care of business. They were efficient. They handled it. But I asked them to do something a little bit extra that I did mention. And you know, one of the words that came out of his mouth is, "I got dinner in about another. I can't stay but so much time because I got to go. I got dinner." And I'm just thinking,
we used to miss dinner when we had to do stuff. When we had work, when it came time to when I was running my business to the level that I was running it, like there were some days that I didn't see my husband. You know, I was up at 5 a.m. and I was out. I was going to work and I had to do what I had to do. So it might be 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, just depending on what type of event I had before I got home at night. And then have to literally come in sneaking in, trying not to wake him up, kind of thing. But now it's like, even like he said, he had to go to dinner. There was one guy who was helping to clear the land. He had an excavator, so he pulling up stuff out of the root. And he was chilling. He was on his cell phone,
on the cell
and all
phone.
of this stuff. And then when it got closer to time for his revival at church, he was like, "Man, I gotta go to church." So he actually started working then. He actually started doing stuff.
So think about that concept.
I gotta go to church. I gotta go to church.
Well, think about
and I'm like,
concept,
okay,
right?
Well, you could have been home and bathed and all of that stuff if you would have just went ahead and did the work while you had opportunity instead of chilling on your phone. So I don't know. People are just different today.
So while you was in the middle of that, because I know you were going to have something to add to that. Think about it. I'm a minister. I'm running my excavator, and I'm out here in nature, digging up trees, and I'm on my phone, distracted. And then I realize the time is getting close, and I need to get out of here. And don't get caught up on the minister piece, but I'm talking about, look at the holistic piece of it, where we talking about ethics, we talking about principles, we talking about being committed to doing what you say you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And now think about what I'm describing to you. If we have doctors, ministers, leaders, we have people who are here affecting our lives, making decisions, and they are distracted, and they are doing things for their own convenience that affect other people. Because this guy worked for the guy that we hired, right? He wasn't, like person we hired. He worked for the guy we hired, right? And when you think about it, the trust system, it's hard to trust people. It's hard to really depend. It's like one time I remember when we was working on the house. Well, why did you call multiple people to come fix this garage door if you called us and we told you we were going to be there? Because it's so many times that people don't show up. And so you have to double book sometimes, right? And then it's first come, first serve. And what are people supposed to do when you're dealing with a time frame and you're dealing with needs? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Homesteading the Hood says, I understand the man. I can't see the cursor. Understand the man having to be home for dinner, family first. Absolutely. If you don't have a job to do, if you're not being paid, then yeah, you can do whatever you want.
So let me dive into that.
But he was on our time, getting our money, being paid to do work for us. And if that was that important to him, then he should have been here at 8 o'clock instead of 12. You know what I mean?
And this is the thing that I want to kind of. I think sometimes we put this in with the workers, but think about it. I'm a business owner,
right?
And I scheduled and misscheduled, and then like let me give some history with this. This particular individual, he said he was coming at a certain time. First of all, when we booked him, he put us off for quite some time, right? Then when we booked him, he then needed some more days because he wasn't ready at that time, which I understand that. But then when you come out, you're planning on doing something in a matter of a short period of time. I get it. It's a business. You got to run a business. But then at the same time, when we make a discussion and we agree that, hey, yeah, this is outside, but you agreed to do certain things and to help me with certain things.
And you ain't doing it for free. You're not doing it out of the kindness of your heart.
You gave me the price.
We are paying you.
Yeah, I told you, I described everything I wanted done. And we're not talking about like the evening. We're talking about country folks call dinner lunchtime. All right? We're talking about lunchtime. He had his son. They had 2 trucks. They had excavators. They had bulldozers. His son, if he was hungry, feeling lightheaded, his son could have went and got that dinner and brought it back because the guy don't live that far from here, right? But we're talking about what I want your mind to think about is
business.
Not only just business, but people are really no longer having this sense of integrity and sense of my name means something, if that makes sense. You know, there was a sense of if I'm going to do a job, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. Now it's like if we didn't have regulations and rules, they wouldn't even do it accordingly. The only thing that saves us in a lot of cases is that there are rules and regulations. It's like if you know something needs to be done, we used to have people who'd be like, oh man, let me go ahead and do that because you're going to have problems on the back end with doing this and doing that. Now you have to get knowledge about what needs to be done. And then I looked around and the stuff that I asked them to do was stuff that would be preventive for future problems, right? He is knowledgeable. But now we living in a world where everybody is so self-absorbed about self that the doctor or the specialist or the professional could see something, but I'm just here to do this. I'm just gonna do this. And I got a golf tournament or I got something that I got playing right now. And let me go ahead and knock this out and do this real quick and get that done. I got appointment. What I'm saying is we got to be mindful, understand that we got to be advocates for the things that we need. When you're paying somebody to do a service, when you need a doctor or anybody to do something, get some knowledge about it, some general overall knowledge, ask questions about it. Make sure you're clear on the things that you're asking for and the things that you need. And then sometimes you got to hold people accountable, even though they might get upset. Like he did, like you could tell he got a little flustered, but he ended up doing the job and making it complete. Now, if I would have been the person where, oh, you got dinner, okay, all right, that wouldn't have got done. And it would have took me, I don't know how long to get that project done. And then it would cost me so much more to bring somebody out here to do that small task that you got to be an advocate for the things you need. And you got to remind some of your professional people that you are in the people business. You need to take it a step further and sometimes get a little uncomfortable to do your job, if that makes sense.
To do your job that you get paid for.
Yeah. It's just one of them things we have to think about.
You know, if you were doing me a favor, it would have been one thing. You know, I would have been like, hey, come back when you come back. But you're doing a job that you're getting paid for.
I don't think I could build a generator. The generator itself, I kind of agree with you on that. But there's 2 parts to most of these gas powered generators. There's the motor itself, and then there's the generator. And I'm with you on that, David. Now, imagine if we didn't have the generator. Life would be very uncomfortable. I'm not gonna lie to you. Life would be very uncomfortable. It will halt a lot of stuff if we didn't have a generator. And we would have to really be dependent on solar, our car batteries, our external batteries. We have to go and charge things up like what we've done. All this stuff we've done in the past, don't get it twisted. We done this in the very beginning because in the beginning, we thought we knew, but we really didn't know.
We had no
clue. We didn't know. We didn't know. And so we were going to the stores, stocking up on water every day. We was trying to fill up the RV, this big old RV with bottles of water because we didn't have no water out here. We didn't have nothing. And we thought that we could run everything just off the RV. But we didn't know we needed a generator. We had a generator, but it's a big learning curve, and we're thankful for the things that we've learned, and we've learned a lot. What we got in it? over the years, we learned a lot of stuff. Stuff costs too damn much. It's going to get worse. This economy is in a recession / depression, and saving thousands by learning how to build, grow, fix my own stuff, not gas, eco, a solar generator. Yeah, we're working on diversifying all of that. Solar generator, water generation. We're looking hydro, whatever you want to call it. We're looking at a lot of different alternatives, and that's what you have to do. I don't think there's one key thing fits all. It's almost like heating. You might need kerosene, you might need diesel, you might need propane, you might need fire. It you have to be very diverse in everything you do, because all you need is one bad storm or one bad catastrophe or one machine breakdown, and now you have to pivot.
Yeah.
So no matter what you have, if it breaks, you got to switch and pivot to something else. So having as much as you possibly can. And that's why I say, like yesterday, I don't think you ever outgrow or grow into. You can find a piece of meeting of comfort, but don't get comfortable to the part where you just say, I'm good, I'm done. That's why we pay so dearly for our resources. Like if you're in the city, you're paying for the electric. I couldn't imagine what it takes to power communities. I couldn't imagine what it takes to keep non-interruption. Imagine the planning it took for this hurricane to come through with all these trees in this area, and people be out of lights for only hours. I'm talking about thousands upon thousands of people.
Yeah, I was thinking. I called to check on one of my coworkers, because she lives in an area where it got hit, and so she was like, I was like, you got a generator? Anybody can lend you a generator maybe? And she was like, yeah, I got one already, but the well is running off of it, and the refrigerator. So trying to keep something to eat and trying to keep water, and so they hot.
Yeah.
Because they don't have that generator that's strong enough to run the refrigerator, or have some propane, or have a diverse array of things, uses of power, solar power packs, and all of that type of stuff. They don't have a diverse array of things, so right now they very uncomfortable.
And you have some people and some builders, they skimp on building, and what I mean by skimp, they may not let a lot of natural light come into their building structures. Then they may have it so insulated, so tight that you don't have airflow. So when you're out of electricity, you're out of power. If it's hot, it's hot. I mean, and you don't have no airflow. You can't open up no windows, because not really a lot of windows to open and let things pass through. So if you're thinking about building a home or a structure, think about, what if this place don't have the amenities it needs? How can I manually? Because I think J3 touched on the tools. He was saying everything you get, try to not get it electrical, get it manual. Same thing about
That's
your
important.
home. Yeah.
That was
totally
I didn't see that, but that was a really, really
try
good point.
Get as much as you can.
And that's one of the things that we're going back to now. We had a whole lot of tools that we don't have anymore, just through the moves that we've made several times. So having those things that you can do things manually with, like if I was just totally dependent on, if I needed to cut some branches out of the way. Sometimes, things will grow and they'll get in front of one of the cameras. And so we at work and the camera just going blink, 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 blink. It's like all day the camera's just going off, and we like, dang gummit, should have cut that. And if it's not something you can just snap off with your hand,
most of the stuff you don't want to grab.
You know what I mean? You don't want to grab most of the stuff.
Most of the stuff.
When you're out here anyway. But those tools, oh yeah, the tea tree oil working in it. Those tools.
I don't know if y'all can see that, but yeah.
Yeah, always getting into poison ivy, but the tea tree oil looks like it's just taking it on away. So, it makes a world of difference when it's just like now we got the doors open because it's not as hot out now.
Yeah.
We don't want to run the generator. Yeah. We're looking forward to getting to the point where we don't have to run the generators anymore. That alone is it because it's so loud. And we tried the one that wasn't as loud and it turned out to be trash. But it makes a world of difference when you can manually do a lot of things. Ooh, is that a hornet?
No.
Okay. Yellow jacket. Wasp. Something.
So wasp. I don't know what kind it is.
I just don't want to get bit by it. I know that. Um, can you read it?
At Brendan, he's talking to
Oh,
Brendan.
okay. Yeah. But yeah, that was a really good point, J3, about making sure that you have more tools that don't rely on electricity. Because every time I bring something in here, he is looking at me like, why did you bring that? Now you're gonna have to have a bigger solar power pack to run that, or we're gonna have to run the generator in order to operate that piece of equipment. So I'm having to still be more conscientious of what I bring in. We don't have a lot of room, so I can't bring in a lot, but there are certain little things that I just want, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna get this. We're gonna have to find an extra spot for it. But you always have to be thinking about what you bring in and how is it going to take away from your power supply.
So Miss Native said our gas generator will run water, refrigerator, fans, portable heaters, all at once. Great investment, but only if gas is available. We all still need solar power. Most definitely.
Diversify.
Yeah, that goes back.
I agree.
I mean, totally. Our generator does it. We need gas to run it, but we also propane is gas. It's just a different alternative gas. We need solar generators as much as we possibly can. But like I said, people, solar is very expensive, and if you are working on a budget, I would probably recommend you slowly build your power. I would probably start with low hanging fruit like generators first. And the reason why I'm saying this is because if you invest the bulk of your money into this solar, and if you experience hurricane storms, like fronts, like when we have fronts here in Florida, notice yesterday was overcast. I was live yesterday. The day before was overcast. Today is still an overcast day. Mm-hmm. Your solar is not performing up to par. And so what you have to do, you have to try to use that solar, the bulk of your solar, to store up your power stations and all of that. But that means you're not using any power for anything else, like your well, like she mentioned the well. She mentioned like sometimes it's still hot. Don't get it twisted. It's still 90 degrees. So sometimes you have to cool off. You can't stay hot all the time.
Right.
Because your body just, it won't work right. Yeah. And so you're going to have to blend in a lot of those things. And I think you said it absolutely correct, Ms. Nathan. Diversify, diversify, diversify. Find those different ways. We winning when that sun is out.
Yeah, and even with like our generators, Miss Native, the one that we have right now, it can almost run everything. But
still gotta be a little
have to be, you have to be.
You can't run the microwave.
Yeah, you're trying to run a microwave. You're trying to run the well. Yeah. You're trying to run the iron. Yeah. All of that. This stuff pulls a lot of energy. You don't realize that our iron. I think we tested it at like 1,500 watts just for running our iron. So and then trying to run like so sometimes we turn off the switches. We turn off different switches.
You have
when we're trying to do something. So if you need to run the generator because you need to take wash your hair or whatever, you need to take like a longer shower or whatever, then you just have to be considerate of the fact that even if you got this 10,000 watt generator that we got, if you got the microwave at 15 to 1800 watts, you got the iron going at 15 to 1800 watts, you got the well pulling another 5, 6. You got it just adds up very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And you'll learn what you can run together versus not.
So like Regina said, I purchased 3 lithium trophy batteries so far, 15,000 watts of storage capacity. I have crazy amount of storage capacity that will not that will, I guess, run hours, but they will not run not day hours, but days, at least 3 with no bright sun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We need to check into that because I was definitely
well see, we can check into that, but you hear what he said?
3 lithium trophy batteries.
Okay, y'all Google. Y'all, I want y'all to Google because Regina, go ahead and Google. I agree with you, bro. I mean, you have the thing, but you got to understand that the average person in America, I'm just saying, everybody's situation different, but you can go in with this thing knowing that, I could do this, but the problem is cost. You know what I'm saying?
So what did he say? Lithium?
They're 3 lithium trophy batteries.
Okay.
And there's some people right in our area. Man, this home is fully solar. It runs fully solar. And they do have a generator. I think they got Generac. They got the Generac backup system. And they major time they run off the solar. There's no question you can do that. Our only hurdle is those batteries, man. We slowly building our battery bank, but we just gotta get going and get started.
Yeah, I was looking at. I'm gonna let you do more research on that, babe.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the heck I'm looking for. But
no, they probably about 15, 1600.
I follow this one lady on Instagram.
I don't know how much they run, but the batteries we're looking at, they were running. Okay, these right here. Here go some trophy batteries.
But I was following this one lady, and so she and her family moved out to the desert, and they're totally off grid. And they have their solar stuff and XYZ.
Around 1,500.
So I was asking her 1,500 each.
Yeah, looks like.
So I was asking her
14. I see 14.
What solar system that they were using, because we're still trying to figure out, is there a place that we can go and we can get a complete solar system that is not going to cost us $30,000 kind of thing. And so her response was that to not buy the kits. The kits are inefficient. And she said they are piecing things together that way that we're doing it. Basically.
So look at this.
They're about 1,700.
They're about 1,700.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I seen them. I think I seen some of them like 14, 15, but yeah, 1,700. So he's probably giving us the max.
But he said one is equal to what?
One is equal to 5 EcoFlow 1,200 watt generators.
Okay.
So that's
okay.
Can we? I don't know. Can we pin? I guess we need to copy.
Maybe over to the right.
Okay.
I don't know.
So regenerative.
But thank you for that.
Man,
thank you for that, Wayne. That is
man.
super helpful.
Yeah, we definitely got to capitalize on that right there. That's awesome right there.
Because that's one of the things that we have kind of been trying to work on. I didn't know about the trophy batteries, but
I seen them, but I was just like, man, I gotta
extra batteries, but they're not that strong.
He mentioned like he purchased one every 4 months, and that's my point.
Yeah.
That goes along with what I was saying from the beginning. I said, yeah, we working on building it, but it's like you gotta get all your wiring, you gotta get the solar panels. It's a process. What I'm saying, it's like sometimes what I don't want to do is mislead our people that don't have a knowledge or haven't tried to do this. And then they go and jump into it, and then they figure they can just go and do it.
Yeah,
they can. Please don't jump into this. Because, yes, you can roll. Because, I don't know, I'm thinking about myself. I was thinking, man, I could do this. I go ahead and sell this and put this together, sell this. man, that money stack up so quick, and stuff stack up by the time you do well, and then you thought it was gonna cost $8,000 and it end up $10,000, and then you thought this clearing was gonna take maybe $5,000-6,000, and you find out it's $7,000 or $8,000, and then the stuff just starts stacking. I just want people to really understand that you can do it, but understand regenerative saying 4 months. So for us, we only been out here for 1 year, right? So if you think about it, 4 months, if you invested the bulk of your resources into a battery, I'm saying for the average person, I'm not talking about you or nobody else, but we talking about average people who probably have $500-600 extra a month if they're doing good. Some people don't have that much. But if you say, okay, those 4 months, you still got to survive. So that's why I say you might want to start entry level with the generator and get your power generator, and then you got to buy power supplies, and then you start working on your solar panels. And once you get your solar panels, then you're going to start working on your control modules, and then you're going to work on your batteries. Once you start getting to that, you're talking about a period of time. If you're putting money to the side to build that, you still got to survive within 4 months, and then the 4 months, and the 4 months. So if you get 3 batteries every 4 months, that's 12 months. That's 1 year. So in that year, you still got to survive. And that's why I was kind of encouraging people to kind of come in at a level where you can survive and then work on building that. Because I just don't want to give people false perceptions where, you come in, you bought your RV, you bought your cabin, you bought your land, you're clearing your land, you're putting your well, you're putting your electric, you're doing all these different things. But the reality is it's very, very expensive. If you're starting from scratch, you're starting from ground zero, it's very expensive. And then you just take your time and go slow because you don't want to be locked into something where you're limited on what you can do. That's all.
And I think that's why we also, every time we start talking about stuff like this, that's why we give that disclaimer that what we always did was that we saved. We always, when we wanted to do something, I can remember when we built our first deck onto our first home.
Yeah.
We saved. We had my little Geo Metro, and we didn't go and buy a truck and do all of that stuff. We had my little Geo Metro hatchback, and we would put the wood in the back of that little Geo Metro, and we bought things a little bit at a time. And it might have taken us, a full month or 2 months versus it taking us just 1 weekend to build our deck. But once we got it done, like it was done. It was done. So we saved for everything that we needed. That's what we did. We saved for it.
Yeah, and yeah, I saw those too. Matter of fact, we got a few solar systems, and you can truly build a 5,000 watt. They're doing it all day long. And matter of fact, I watched this one guy. He got this little shed where he has his whole solar panel set up, and he runs everything. For us, we need something for our well. That was the big thing that kind of held us back from just building for the RV. We needed our water source, so we had to go big, and we need something around 9,500 or so to run the RV, to run the cabin, and to run the well. That way we can all simultaneously use our resources. So we couldn't go just that one dimension just for the RV because we needed something to power the wheel. But the option is so limitless. That's why I always say your situation will be so different because you got some setups where you already got power, you already got your septic, you already got that. You don't need a lot of stuff to run certain things. But if you're like us out here, we don't have any power at all, and so we need to run multiple things and not just well at certain times. Sometimes we need to run our wash machine simultaneously. We need to run our dryer sometimes because it's raining a lot. We have two AC units at another location inside of the cabin. So we need a multiplicity of stuff, and the building piece we have to kind of focus on our community. So every situation is different. It is obtainable. You can buy a system that's very affordable and that can meet your needs, but you got to first assess where you are and your needs. And once you can assess that, regenerative, you don't mind if I invite you, do you? Because you got a lot of info. I'm gonna put a link right here. I would love to kind of get some more of your input. You got a lot of good knowledge, man. If you don't mind, I just wanna put the chat there. If you got a few minutes, I would love to have you up there. So I just put the chat right there for the stream yard because man, this information we all need. We all need to share. Or if anybody got something they want to add, please come up. I put it in the link, the stream yard in the link. So if you all would like to add something or just give us some insight or some things that could be beneficial to us or beneficial to somebody who's thinking about exploring, who's thinking about trying this thing, please take this time to come up if you don't mind. If you got a little time, we welcome you to come on up. But like I say, every situation is a little bit different. What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I agree. That you just have to look at where you are. You just have to really like work from wherever you are at the time. So if you're in a position where you're finding yourself there's more month than money kind of thing, then you gotta think about, okay, what can I do differently? Let me research something. Listen, this is the information era. This is the information age right now. And so if you were to come to just go to the internet, just go on Instagram, just go on TikTok. Like these young people are putting out so much information that
I can't remember
if you don't have information at this point, like you're just not looking.
Yeah.
If you don't have information on how to get better at finances, at get a little side hustle, and all of this stuff, there is so much information that's out here. You have to go and find it. You have to find the information.
So Regenerative says, Eco Family, all you have to do is add another battery. Now you have 10,000 watts of storage and so forth, y'all. Definitely, just keep adding. Stuff like, stuff like. But thank you. Now, J3GS says after listening, I think I better go crack a generator just to run. Definitely do that. Because the fuel system is the big thing with the generators.
Yeah, we used to pull ours out
twice a year.
Yeah, once or twice, and just run that thing because
and try to run your gas out of it.
Let me tell you, after a storm happens,
yeah, you don't want to be trying
just because it's been raining and all of that stuff does not mean it's gonna cool down when a hurricane comes through. Sometimes it is hot, it is muggy, it is humid, it is all of that stuff. And if you're trying to survive in that, especially if you have children, you have small kids, you have the elderly with you in your home, like you want to try to be as comfortable as humanly possible because a lot of them can't tolerate what some of the younger can tolerate. And nowadays, some of the youngers can't tolerate because they're not even used to being outside really. So, some of us middlers, we can tolerate a whole lot of stuff better than even some of the younger people because we are outside. We are, the type of people where we've always been outside. All of our life, we pretty much were outside. So you have to just start with where you are. Whatever issue that you're having, go to the internet to try to find out how you can help yourself better, to do better, to make sure that your month and your money is equaling up, etc. Whatever it is that you need to find, go to the internet and find that stuff and do the work. You have to do the work. Nobody is going to do it for you.
So, well, Auntie asked, "Will we bring someone on?" We were asking if Regenerative wanted to come on, Regenerative like Wayne, but I think he's just going to stay in the comments. So with that said, I think we have completed another session of Eco Nation News, and we have come to an end of our session. I hope it has been beneficial. And for those of you all that's been in the chat that have contributed, thank you. Special thank you to Regenerative Life Wayne. Thank you so much, Wayne, for all that knowledge. Y'all make sure y'all go back and look at a lot of that knowledge. J3GS, thank you so much for bringing it. Ms. Native, as always, thank you. And Homestead, Homestead in the hood, thank you. Thank you. She's always
a wealth of knowledge.
Wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much. And Happy Mac, thank you as always. And everyone, not just the people that I named, but everyone that contributed. Because you all make this live what it is, and we thank you so much for your information. Y'all continue to stay blessed and stay well, and don't forget, whatever y'all do, to keep on growing.